Welcome to NOLA, gent. Let the good times roll. So I'm coming to you here from my secret undisclosed bunker location here during the apocalypse of the pandemic in New Orleans and the rest of the world. And we're going to have a death match of meatballs from places that are still doing carry-out food in New Orleans. So a lot of grumpy, unhappy grandmothers might be hunting me down to try to take care of me if I do this wrong. So this is going to be a very dangerous mission, but cheers, we'll get through it. And may we all stay safe during the interesting times we are in. So our first stop on the meatball tour will be Tony Mandina's restaurant, located on the Westbank of New Orleans, and it's just a classic Italian, Sicilian, Creole restaurant that also has a lot of classic New Orleans favorites as well. They are mostly doing call-in, but you can also order from the window, and also don't forget to pick up one of the jars of their very delicious red gravy, which they also have on offer. So definitely, they also have a great special going on now for 2-for-1 meatballs and spaghetti for a great price. So make sure to check that out as well. And when you pick up your food, again, don't forget the red gravy. So that is definitely a worthwhile jar of some delicious sauce to pick up on your way out and about. Well, let's get to the food. So you get a nice carry-out bag from Mandina's, and let's open it up and see what's inside. They double bagged it with another layer of plastic bag inside for extra safety. Alright, these meatballs look pretty good. We get 2 meatballs per each serving in each box. Well, oinky oinky oinky, it's time to test them out. That's a pretty delicious looking morsel of meatball there. And it is quite a nicely done and well flavored meatball. I literally have killed it in 2 bites. However, it's quite tasty. And while our focus is on the meatballs today, the pasta and the red gravy are also very well done. So they certainly are a great complement to the meatballs in this dish. Our next stop will be the Vintage in the Garden District on Magazine Street, where they offer lots of fantastic coffee, beignets, champagne, and meatballs. And it's definitely a little strange and spooky to see Magazine Street so deserted. Definitely these are different kinds of times that we are in right now, because this is a highly unusual sight to see magazines so devoid of crowds. So to order, you can simply walk up and order food, drinks, coffee, alcoholic beverages. They've got pretty much their full menu on service here, so it's a nice little stop on Magazine when so many other things are closed. And when you go up to order, they'll tell you can go sit right across the street to wait for your order at the picnic tables over at Rum House, which is closed for the pandemic currently. And they have a lot of things ready to go, so it's a pretty convenient spot to grab something fast and quick. Even the meatball order I put in was really fast to get out. And speaking of meatballs, these are some very nice meatballs with a basil and marinara sauce combination, which is great. Meatball time! Basil and marinara together, great combination. Next up, we have Gendusa's Italian Market in the Rivertown area of Kenner. They continue to serve their entire menu for carryout, along with maintaining pretty nearly their normal hours as well. So kudos to them for the hard work they are putting in to keep us all fed. Well, let's go inside and get our food. So they are fully stocked with quite a nice selection of desserts. So your sweet tooth can still be satisfied here. And they still have St. Joseph's Day things going on in here. So for those of you not from around New Orleans, you might not be aware that we do have a large population of people of Sicilian background and ancestry, and even some people that came straight from Sicily are still around. So we do celebrate St. Joseph's Day in the city, and often the St. Patrick's and St. Joseph's Day will combine forces for some of the celebrations. So the fava bean plays a large role in the Sicilian tradition of the St. Joseph table or St. Joseph altar. When dried, roasted, and blessed, it becomes the very popular lucky bean. Legend has it that you will never be broke as long as you carry one. Some people believe that if you keep one in the pantry, there will always be food in the kitchen. The myth of the fava bean began during the famine in Sicily, where the bean was used as fodder for cattle. To survive, the farmers prepared them for the table, hence they considered themselves lucky to have them. The bean is also a symbol of fertility, since it grows well even in poor rocky soil. Italians would carry a bean from a good crop to ensure a good crop the following year. And there is also a prayer card at the St. Joseph altar here, asking for some intercession for the current pandemic. So if you want to do a little prayer yourself, please feel free to follow along. Or if you don't do that sort of thing, that's all fine too. Now, back to the food. I ordered a pizza and meatballs, of course. So let's check out the cheese pizza first. Cheese pizza. And now it's time for the meatball. Seriously, this is one meatball cut into two. That's a big meatball. That's a crazy amount of cheese. looks really good. Next up is Verti Marte in the French Quarter, a 24-hour place, cash only, and they deliver through most of the quarter. I'm not sure if they're doing delivery in the current pandemic, but let's head inside. So this place packs a lot of groceries inside a small space. And they have pretty much a lot of the basic needs you would want to find, along with plenty of other things. And lots of alcohol also on top of it, like most New Orleans joints. And they have all sorts of food. They have eggs even. And their back food case is full of things all the time, and unlike most places, they even have toilet paper. Don't tell anybody. There's few places that still have toilet paper still. So this is always a great spot to check out whenever you need some food, drinks, or most other things to survive the French Quarter. Now, this is the least amount of food I've ever seen in the food display cases, and they did tell me they're having some problems getting enough produce and ingredients to make everything. But as far as the pandemic goes, they still have quite a respectable amount of selection. Always remember, though, it is cash only. So there is still a pretty decent selection of items in the food display case, and you also still can order multiple po' boys and other sandwiches from their main menu. But they give you a huge plate of food with the entrees, so you do get a very large amount of food whenever you go with these entrees. And their po' boys and other sandwiches are also quite large, so you do get good value for your money here. The menu is just crazy huge, so I can't even begin to review all of that here. In addition to what they have inside their entree case every day, just you've got to just check it out. You can look online, but it doesn't justify it. You really need to come here and see what they have. Well, let's get back to the food. I ordered a chicken parmesan with spinach au gratin and green beans, along with meatballs. Now, I need to confess that Verti Marte will heat your food for you. I did not go with that option. I was out running errands, and I thought the food would probably heat up adequately in the car while I was out doing that. And when I got home, I was so hungry, I didn't bother to take the time to microwave it because I was so hungry. So do take into account the food probably would look much better if I would have microwaved it and gotten the cheese all super ooey gooey. So that's my bad. A knife probably would have been a great idea in this situation too, but I'm holding the camera with my other hand, so it would have been a little challenging. Even though it's not hot, it's still quite tasty. The green beans are very well done with the perfect amount of crispness, and they have a great flavor. The spinach au gratin is also quite nicely flavored with the cheese in there. Okay, it's meatball time yet again. Ha 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 ha! The meatball and the sauce have a really nice flavor, so quite a nice meatball. So our last stop on the meatball tour will be Tower of Pizza on Veterans Memorial Boulevard in Metairie. This is a favorite spot of a lot of folks out in Metairie. They are a cash-only business, and their menu is very simple, offering pizza, pasta with meatballs, and salad. Currently, during the pandemic, they're only offering curbside pickup, so you can call ahead and pull up and pick up your food, or you can pull up and order and then end up waiting a lot longer, so I suggest calling ahead. And remember to bring cash. Tower of Pizza is also located right next door to the Byblos Market Mediterranean Grill. Keep an eye out for a review coming out for this place soon as well. Finally getting back home, it's time to eat, and I got a large hot and spicy pizza with jalapeno, ground beef, onions, and green peppers. And of course, spaghetti and meatballs. Time for a little extra flavor and heat on my pizza. So, some decent pizza during the pandemic and a little extra Tabasco sauce for some heat and flavor makes it even better. Now we have our little mystery bag. What could be in here? And foil wrap something. Plasticware. A Chinese food box. And some Parmesan cheese. Ah, what a surprise, the spaghetti and meatballs. Pretty sure most of y'all already figured out that was going to be in here. And then we have a baguette in the tin foil here, so looks pretty nice overall. So that's a nice sized meatball. And plenty of sauce is sticking to it. Pretty decent sized meatball there. That was good. 3-4 bites. So one meatball down, and let's sample the pasta. Very nice pasta, and the sauce is also quite nice. Well, we've gone through quite a few meatballs, and there's still plenty more out there with lots of other establishments serving delicious meatballs as well. I just couldn't get to them all for this video. So make sure you keep checking all of them out. So, who was the winner of the Meatball Deathmatch? That is an interesting answer. We are the winners because we are the ones that get to enjoy these delicious meatballs. They're all fantastic. And these folks are working really hard at all of these restaurants to keep us fed during this epidemic time. So let's keep our support up for all of the great places out there keeping us fed and producing such fantastic food. So keep safe out there, keep following our social distancing protocols, and let's all stay safe. So let's look forward to brighter times ahead and remember those that have fallen during this unfortunate epidemic. And let's also remember that we can overcome and win against this with the power of our culture in New Orleans. So don't forget, we're gonna come out on top with this one. If you would like to follow me on Yelp, I have thousands of pictures and reviews on there. You can also follow me on Instagram for more photos. And please like this video and subscribe to the NOLA Gent channel. We would also love it if you would help us out on Patreon and help the channel continue to have more content produced. Thank you very much.